Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long was 1975. A YouTuber on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long Boys Bros 1975.
Hey YouTube, Longboys Post 1975, and welcome to another collection video. In this video, I don't know why I introduced these things. Well, good manners is why I introduced these things, but you've seen the thumbnail and you've read the description. This is not a video game collection video. This is my Funko Pop collection video. A little bit I want to talk about at the start of this video is what I look for when I buy a Funko Pop figure, because I wouldn't say I'm a die-hard collector. I'm sure there are people out there with absolutely massive collections. I am not one of those. I am, however, someone who, I guess you could argue, sums up the genius of the Funko Pop line. I could be wrong on this. I know very little about them, but weren't the initial... They're a company that have made tons and tons of stuff, and bobbleheads were, what, their initial thing, or something very similar to that, in the style of Japanese chibi. Is that how you pronounce it? Toys, but Funko Pop vinyl figures, because they're obviously known for their very specific stylized sort of caricature of famous movie, cartoon, literature, comic, toy, real life, musician, film star, everything characters. I am aware I said movie and then film star. But yeah, 2010 for a Comic-Con, they started making them in the form that they are known, with a bunch of Marvel and DC. I don't know, I'm very hazy on it. I've only collected, I have what, 30 plus something ish, thereabouts, figures. All of them are boxed. I will never ever display them out of the box, because I have taken a few out of the box to take some funny snaps of for Facebook, and, well, I found them funny, and use one of them as a fairy on my Christmas tree last year. But yeah, I'm not a die-hard collector, but what I like about them is if you're not going for complete sets, when I say complete sets, I don't mean the whole thing, because there's thousands and thousands, but I mean, like, you know, you have sort of like movies. Ghostbusters would be a good example, if I learn to talk properly in a moment, where you would obviously want all 5 of the main characters at least. I'm not like that. If there is a specific movie I love, I think you know where that movie is. I think you know where the majority of this collection is going, so we'll save that for the second half of this video. Or comic book character, or toy, or TV show, or just something I love, then I can jump in and just buy that with no need to buy the entire set of the line that represents whatever film, whatever game, whatever comic that figure is from, if that makes sense. And that would be the genius of Funko, wouldn't it? Which is, it's not just for die-hard collectors, it's for people who like to jump in and out like me. I have stipulations where I buy them and how much I will spend. I will not spend over $12.99, because obviously there are lots of very limited edition ones from Comic-Con and stuff like that. I would love Marty McFly in the radiation suit, but I'm not paying £175 for it, which is where I last saw it, which is on Amazon. So ones I very specifically want, I buy from Amazon. I also buy ones from B&M, which are older ones, possibly discontinued ones, because they're like $4.99. You know, Amazon, again, I won't go above $12.99, but that seems to be, you know, sort of $9.99 to $12.99 for the main range of figures on there, not including the rarer ones you get and more discontinued ones you get from private sellers and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, I like B&M ones as well, because it's super cheap, and there is something about buying them in the wild and picking up one of an ensemble set, Ghostbusters, not knowing whether you can pick up the other ones, but enjoying doing such for a cheaper price. Then there are supermarkets which have a really decent range, but it's basically get them as soon as the range is out, such as the Mandalorian, or you probably won't see them again. But they don't have the biggest selection, and also once they get certain ones in, such as the Mandalorian, they never get them in again. And then the final place is dedicated toy stores like Smith's, because 2 of these I got from Smith's, 3 of these, 2 of these the other day. And I walk in and they've got all the ones, including the big ones. I really like the Doc Brown from the 50s standing in front of a very scaled down, I should say, but it's one of the bigger range, playset range of Hill Valley clock tower, but I ain't spending 29 quid on a Funko. I certainly ain't buying those big fuck off big ones because storage is premium and I need a new shelf so I can display all these together instead of dotted around in certain separate shelves throughout different rooms like my game room and the back room, which is ultimately a display haven for quite a lot of nostalgic guff I have. Anyway, let's jump into it. So like I said, it's just what tickles my fancy. It might surprise you what's in here apart from a rather large chunk, but I think it's safe to say you all know what that is going to be. So I guess well, it's all at my feet. You can't see it, but basically where my hands are now, Funko is touching it like this because you needed that that image in your head. Let's start with one that, you know, really can only be displayed at Christmas, and it's not the one I put on my Christmas tree last year, but it's Groot Holiday Supermarket one, $9.99. I love Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy. Absolutely love Groot, especially baby Groot. And when I saw this Christmas theme one, and I displayed it, you know, on the sideboard with all the other Christmas decorations last Christmas, I had to have it. A bit silly, you could argue, buying a Christmas themed Funko because you can only really display it at a certain point a year. But I love Groot. Look at that. Look at that. Then, this was a B&M one that I didn't know existed, but supermarkets had a bunch of these, and it must be, well, it says Maximum Venom underneath, Spider-Man Maximum Venom. So there's obviously a storyline from Marvel recently-ish. I don't read Marvel comics anymore because they're so unbelievably fucking woke. But I saw this and I had to have it, and it's Venomized Groot because that is cool. I really, really, really like that. But he pretty much, of this range of figures, the only good Venomized figure out of the bunch. Venomized Punisher just looks like Punisher, but hold on, seriously. But Venomized Groot all day long. So this was B&M. So that would have been $5.99, $4.99, $5.99. I don't know why you want to know the prices. I can't help it. I just do that. This one, I don't know what the deal is with this range. It's a special edition. It's Marvel and it's just Thor. But it's the way it's coloured. Now, maybe I missed a trick, but there is a specific reason I like this. Because I like Thor. I do. Not a massive fan of how he's displayed in the MCU. But this, to me, bears a very strong resemblance to his appearances in the 60s. More so the 60s than the 70s. Like that newsprint kind of popping bright colours, you know, but limited colours, so you couldn't make it look like a modern comic and more accurate to, you know, life, I guess. I just love it. I just love the way he's coloured in this, so much so that I bought it. I had no interest in any of the other ones, even though Spider-Man's one of my favourite superheroes ever. I just love the way Thor look. It just reminds me of those really, really old comics, and I have a few Thor comics from way, way, way back in the day. It just looks like newsprint. If that makes sense, I don't know. But then I don't have to explain why I like something. I just like that. That just popped to me. Funko popped, if you will. See what I did there. Right, we've got to separate these out so I don't start tripping over them. Here's two that might surprise you, especially when I'm missing one of them, but we'll get to that. These are recent additions for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. I bought them because I love these characters from the MCU movies, particularly the Winter Soldier and Civil War. Not a massive fan of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier because it started strong, but once again, because it's Disney, they couldn't help but go woke. However, I love these figures. I absolutely love these figures, and I love the characters. I can't hold it against them because of Disney wokenizing their show. But gotta have it. No Captain America. These are both from a supermarket. These are both from Asda, so these were $9.99 a pop. No Captain America, you say. In the same line of figures, even though it's not from that TV show, there was Captain America with a broken shield and Mjolnir, which you would probably think you'd be all over that, wouldn't you? Not really. I just want regular Captain America. I haven't looked on Amazon, so possibly I could do that, which is just, you know, his World War II suit, maybe with a handgun, or maybe Winter Soldier Captain America. But although you could argue that would kind of be as near as we got to Hydra Captain America, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so that's why I've got those, but I have no Captain America yet. But that is something that will be fixed. Now, a couple of random ones. We have Mega Man. Yeah, Mega Man. $5.99 B&M. I love me some Mega Man. Absolutely love me Mega Man. Not necessarily the NES games. Yes, this might surprise you. I love the one on Super SNES on the SNES, and I like the ones on PlayStation and Saturn. Oh, I do like Mega Man, but come on. See, there is a character by sheer design was made to be Funko Pop. It's almost like Funko Pop is how he's designed in the original game, if that makes sense. So I had to have me some Mega Man. Really could not care for the rest of the figures, but Mega Man all day long, especially, you know, at that price from B&M. This is another supermarket one, which might surprise you. Well, it won't surprise you if you know me, but you might be surprised that I didn't go for the accompanying piece to it. And that's Batman, my favourite Batman movie, 1989, Tim Burton's Batman. Jack Nicholson, Joker. Absolutely amazing. I have so many arguments with people about, obviously taste is subjective, but you're all still wrong. Nicholson is still the best Joker. 89 Batman is still the best Batman, and Keaton is still the best person to play Batman. And we're going to get him in the Flashpoint movie as old Batman. I cannot tell you how happy that made me. Now, this is just brilliant. It's so Jack Nicholson Joker, which you would bloody hope so. But I just don't like the Batman. I just don't like the Batman that accompanies it. And this is what I mean about having a different sort of collection than other people, which is I can have him by himself and not have the Batman, which other people, that gap, or people coming to see my collection, but that would irritate them. Ho-hum, my collection. That's what I mean. I have a very unique take on how I collect these figures. Where should we go next? I got this one this morning when I was out and about. Supermarket again, $9.99, Asda. Sadly, couldn't find a Godzilla to go with it. This is what I mean. If you didn't jump on it, because I was there on Saturday and they didn't have it. If you don't jump on these immediately at the supermarket, you lose your chance to pair up. But I will keep looking through all the regular supermarkets because I don't want a massive amount. It doesn't necessarily which ones I get, but I got what is it, Battle Damage? Battle Scarred Kong. He's got an axe from King Kong, or Godzilla vs. Kong. So what's the other? I'm loving this, that you can stream this shit and not have to go to the cinema. Sorry if you own a cinema or you worked in a cinema and this has fucked you over, but not having to leave my house to watch blockbusters upon release through my Xbox and shit like that. I love it. I could do it all day long. So yeah, had to have a Kong. Love me some King Kong. My favourite Kong movie of all time is still the original, and my favourite Godzilla movie of all time is still the original. I know, I'm old school like that, so I had to have that. I do need to track me down. I don't really want the one with fire, or electric breath, or whatever it is. I want, that one would be nice, just a regular Godzilla. Right, this is a cool one. This was probably the first Funko. This gives you an indication of how long I've been buying Funkos. The first Funko I bought ever, and it's Deadpool as Bob Ross. I don't want Deadpool. I mean, there was a Deadpool festive figure from last Christmas. Don't want Deadpool, but when I saw Deadpool as Bob Ross, you know, the most chilled out, relaxed, favourite artist of many, many people who didn't even like painting, put it on BBC 4 late at night and just chill out to him. When Deadpool played him for one of the teaser trailers for Deadpool 2, you know, whack it off. I thought that was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. So I didn't even know this was a thing. I was in a toy store downtown. This might be the only figure I paid above $12.99 for, and it was my first. It was $14.99. But that's when I set my you know, stipulation on the price I go on. But look at that. How could you not fall in love with that? So I have Deadpool as Bob Ross. Officially my first Funko Pop I collected, and this would be my second, and this was $12.99 in a Smith's toy store going back a few years ago. Again, think what I did with Joker. I don't have the companion piece, Rocco, which might drive everyone else up the wall, but then Heifer, the figure, was my, oh, you can see, was my favourite character of the show anyway, and I absolutely love Rocco's Modern Life, and you know, that was from when I was like in my early 20s and at college, and partaking in stuff that would make the viewing of it even more enjoyable and funny, allegedly. But yeah, Rocco's Modern Life was fantastic, and I owned them all, so I had to have Heifer. I mean, is that not the greatest figure ever? Also, it's the balance that I do want the Rocco though. I've had a look on Amazon, it goes, well, it swings around about, it goes up and it goes down, and I've had a look and he was expensive. Maybe I'll check again, but yeah, I do want him. But it's a testament to the fact that they have their very own unique style. I mean, think what I said about Mega Man. Mega Man just lends himself to being a Funko Pop, or that, you know, that sort of stylistic image of the toy, how it's created. But Heifer doesn't really, yet they've still pulled it off, and that's why I like Funko. Right, next is Deckard, B&M, $4.99, Blade Runner, 2049. Fantastic movie, obviously not as good as the original, but he's old Deckard. I don't care. And I would have preferred young Deckard, but obviously I don't think there was a Blade Runner line out unless they were exclusives when I came across this. And yeah, and I actually do think it's an amazing, amazing, amazing movie. Some people say you should never have made a sequel to a movie that old and that classic. Maybe, but I was wanting to hate this and I adored it. So I had to have it because until I can get one now, I had to have a Deckard in my collection because Blade Runner's up there. Wouldn't say in my top 10, certainly in my 11 to 20, but yeah, had to have that when I saw it. And this is what I mean about one-offs and stuff. You would never be able to piece together the whole set when you see them in places like B&M. It would take multiple visits, but that's what I love, you know, buying from places like that. This was an Amazon one. I think this was $4.99. Had to. Everyone, sorry, Windy Pops, has to have an Austin Powers figure in their Funko Pop collection. And classic Austin Powers. I mean, the minute I saw that on Amazon, when I just typed in Funko Pop, I was at lunch and I was just scrolling through on my phone. Amazon app can cost you so much money very, very easily once you have it on your phone. Look at it, you. But I saw that for $4.99 and thought that's cheap. So obviously he's mass produced, still for sale, and not that popular. Don't care. Think about what I said about how I collect Funko Pops. So had to have that. Again, I am aware I need to get on new shelves. This might surprise you. Now, I don't care what your opinions are on politics or stuff like that. I really don't need to hear it. But I have a Ronald Reagan Funko. Again, this was like $7.99 on Amazon. You can get a whole bunch of the presidents and their first ladies and stuff like that. And this might strike you odd for me. But I grew up in the 80s when it was Margaret Thatcher and it was Reagan, and Spitting Image was a cutting-edge satire show on TV with puppets. And that's what kind of just, I don't know, I have strong memories of always being in the news, and particularly that show of Reagan. And when I got a little bit older and I started looking around at his Anthony Dinner speeches and stuff like that, regardless of what you think he did or didn't do for the country, as an individual, I thought he was funny as fuck, and his speeches were to die for. Also, another reason was, it meant I could do a sketch from Back to the Future. I did it on Facebook years ago. I think you know the one I mean. So yeah, I have Ronald Reagan. I don't have any British politicians, but I have Ronald Reagan in my Funko Pop collection. Deal with it. Right. We're on to Star Wars and Back to the Future. Actually, we got a couple more. John Wick with dog. Smith's, $12.99. Had to have this. Greatest action movies of recent years. Set the bar again. John Wick is fantastic. Love me some Keanu Reeves. Would like the Bill and Ted Pops. Alex Winters is quite cheap. See, that's one. I couldn't have one without the other. Alex Winters is quite cheap. I think I checked this prior to the third movie coming out, which is a woke piece of shit. So as far as I'm concerned, there are only 2 Bill and Ted's movies. But the Keanu Reeves one, whether he was a Comic-Con exclusive, I can't remember, but he was pushing 200 quid. And I can't spend 200 quid on a Funko Pop. Fingers crossed B&M might get it, because that's going to happen, isn't it? But yeah, had to have John Wick. Greatest trilogy of action movies in recent years. Roll on the fourth Matrix. Should probably get me a Neo, shouldn't I? But yeah, come on. John Wick, had to have that, no-brainer. This is a no-brainer as well, and this was cheap. This was $9.99 on Amazon. John McClane, Die Hard. There are only 3 Die Hard movies as well, by the way, people. Only 3 Die Hard movies. I do kind of want the one where he's in the chair, you know, ho, 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 now I have a machine gun, but that kind of makes it a very specific figure for Christmas as well. But, you know, I've got a festive one. Technically 2 festive ones, but this was my angel on my Christmas tree last year, so I do occasionally take them out of the box and I put them back in. But original wife beater Mcfly, welcome to the party, pal. What's not to love about that? Possibly in my top 5 favourites of this collection. Then we have perfect example of, you may not be able to get the full set if you see them in B&M, but I saw them both on different occasions. So it's Dr. Egon Spengler and Dr. Raymond Stantz, and it's the 35th anniversary of Ghostbusters. These were $4.99. It's weird. I don't know if that's a standard price for all B&Ms across the country, because we have 2. We have one by the Bristol City Ground, which burns me to go there because I'm a Bristol Rovers fan. No comments about us being relegated. Thank you very much. But theirs are like $5.99. Then if I go to the one in Clevedon, theirs are like $4.99. But I bought them on separate occasions, so you never know, because they buy old, you know, lines of stock and water stock and fire stock and shit like that, and you know what I mean, damaged stock, and so they can show up again. So I never say never that I won't get the other 2, but again, it does not annoy me. I mean, it does a little bit because I don't have Bill Murray, that I don't have the full set. Also, some of these, I love it. I have this dome or curved effect. Deckard has it as well. I wish they all had that. I just like that. I don't know why. I just like it for display purposes. So yeah, 2 Ghostbusters, 2 in the box, ready to go. We be fast and they be slow. Points for the quote. Ghostbusters 2, obviously. So never say never. We'll have a quick look at my Star Wars ones because I hate Disney Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy has single-handedly destroyed it again. Woke and gender politics and all that rubbish. Constantly abusing and insulting the fans for genuinely not liking the sequel trilogy because it's rubbish. And that's what you do, isn't it? You tell the fans that this movie may not be for you, and then when they don't go and see it, you blame the fans that the movie didn't do as well as you want, and then start calling them sexist, chauvinistic, and all kinds of slurs and insults. The Mandalorian, on the other hand, is utterly fantastic and the only thing I like about new Disney Star Wars. So we'll start with the first one I bought, which was the child. This is the first child, so you know that's the one any parent loves the most. But yeah, saw this, Amazon, $12.99, had to have it. Love the wide box because he's got wide ears. Love the child character, I think it's absolutely fantastic. Love the Luke story. Spoilers, Luke Skywalker, you know, Disney de-aged Luke Skywalker at the end in the final episode that Kathleen Kennedy and everyone else hates because it shows that Rian Johnson's fucking god-awful, down and out shit, alien titty milk drinking twat Luke Skywalker. People hated it, and when you saw him as a powered up Jedi, everyone went absolutely mental. And so obviously people like Kennedy and all that shit of new Star Wars started bashing it, and the fans again. But yeah, love child, had to have that. Then he showed up in a local supermarket, and you can never have too many children. Awkward. But yeah, special edition. Don't know what the other ones aren't, but this was in the Mandalorian second range. What is it? 368, 384. Obviously, I never actually bothered to explain the number convention and stuff like that, but if you like Funkos, you can work it out. Not much difference, as you can see. Force gesture, post kind of stance. Just regular with his arms by his side. You could argue there's possibly no real reason to own this. If I own this, don't care. Love the child. So much so that... then got another one. This one's heavier. Makes sense. He's in the Hodl thing. Yeah. This one absolutely fantastic because in the Hodl thing. Love it. It's probably my favourite one of the child. And yeah, you know, Baby Yoda, if you will. That's not obviously his name, and I know what his name is, but I always balls pronouncing it up. So yeah. Love that. Absolutely love that. And then imagine my surprise when I found the only one on the shelf of the Mandalorian with the child. I should probably need to get around to buying a Boba Fett, but like an Empire Boba Fett or something like that. But again, I delve in and out of Star Wars. Apart from when I saw the Mandalorians, I had to have it. So yeah, that's an absolute amazing figure. Supermarket, $9.99. Sold out. Then they got another bunch in, and then it sold out. And I haven't seen them since. And they had Cara Dune, and then she sold out, and we'll get to that. Then I got the Mandalorian, where he's with his staff. Epic beans, epic sauce. Can't have too many Mandalorians. Again, you could probably argue that I don't really need to own 2, since I said I'm not the person who wants the full set. But I would say, don't care. The Mandalorian is cool as tits. Then I got Cara Dune off Amazon for $12.99. She was retailing for about 30 quid because her figure was discontinued because Disney cancelled her for her opinions. Because if your opinions do not fit the narrative of Hollywood, then you are a threat and need to be cancelled. Don't care. Love Cara Dune. Obviously she's kind of been uncancelled now, hasn't she, as the actress, because her episode she shot with Ray Mears is now going to be screened, because such was the backlash against Disney and such was the outcry of support from the fans that, yeah, Gina Carano has technically been uncancelled. Whether she shows up in the next season of Mandalorian, I sincerely doubt, which is a shame because I think she should, because clearly the fans love her and Disney were wrong to sack her. Whatever your opinions on that, I don't care, because mine are right. So yeah, have me Cara Dune. Then this was one that was B&M, and I simply bought it because it's a Star Wars figure from the original, you know, episode 4 Star Wars movie, and it's just absolutely adorable. Look at that. Look at that. How could I not buy that? And this was like $4.99 again. I have another Star Wars figure, but it's not in that range, but I would like Jedi Luke and I would like Han Solo. But again, they weren't there at the time. Whether they show up or not, I don't know. This was a Amazon one, 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back, my favourite Star Wars movie, and it should be yours. Han Solo and Carbonite. Because look, I mean, look at it, Marge, look at it. Oh, damage. Things I've learned from Amazon is when you buy from private sellers, it's very hit or miss. Usually, like when I got Cara Dune, it was in a box, wrapped by paper, in another box, covered it in bubble wrap, and then brown packing paper. I've got one from Back to the Future where he just sent it in a jiffy bag or a bubble mailer, and it got damaged. I ripped him apart in the feedback. Why would you do that? Anyway, yeah, Han Solo, Carbonite. Again, you know, complete lack of other Empire Strikes Back figures. Don't care. It's Han Solo and Carbonite. Right, we are into the final stretch. I say that, but how many have I got? I've got 9, and that would be Back to the Future. I could quite scarily spend a large amount of money on Back to the Future Funkos when I go to big toy stores, like I said, with that Doc Brown display, and when I see the Comic-Con exclusives, you know, on Amazon and stuff like that when they approach 200 quid. I force myself not to. So someone who's a massive Back to the Future fan and watches this channel will know that. It's difficult for me to collect without breaking my price rule, and also I don't really care about the other characters. To me it's all Marty and Doc. Marty and Doc. Anyway, so first one, these are out of sequence for, you know, I could have ordered them, you know, via the numbers on the top and stuff like that, but Back to the Future Part 2, Marty McFly on hoverboard. What you can't see is my hoverboard's just over there. Oh, and my shoes are just over there. My Air Mags, if you will. Yeah, this is the one where he just sent it in a bubble mailer. Look at that. I had to leave a weight on it to press it back down flat, but that pisses me off. I gave him shit feedback. People get butthurt when he gives shit feedback. Don't send stuff packaged shit then. It ain't rocket science, is it? But yeah, $12.99. I didn't break my spending rule on that, but it's on a hoverboard, so I absolutely had to. Then I got Marty. This is a bunch of Amazon ones, although there were 2 cash generators in here. Marty in future outfits. So we got Marty with the hat. Obviously he's dressed as his son. His Air Mags, the jacket. I have the jacket. It's in the room down there. If you want to see my Back to the Future merchandise, check out my Back to the Future playlist. But yeah, this is an awesome one. Jacket, pants pulled out on his trousers or jeans, pockets pulled out on his pants. Sorry. Yeah, the hat. Some people complain about the hat. They were never going to make it more reflective than just a metallic paint, were they? And so hat's in the other room, so I can't show you that because I actually have the hat. Making it reflective in that sort of material would just make the figure really, really expensive and probably very difficult to mass produce. So I've got no problem with that. You know exactly what it's supposed to be and what it represents. So yeah, another $12.99 one. Probably already said that. But Marty pretending to be his son, you could argue the previous one was as well. This was Smith's the other day, $12.99. Back to the Future. Marty in puffy vest. Check it out, the dog thinks he's going to drown. His life preserver, or as we call it, body warmer, or as we call it in this country, jerkin. Who remembers calling them jerkin? I can understand why they just hit me then, why they don't call it jerkin in North America. Because Marty will go blind. It's Marty with the camera and his headphones from his Walkman around his neck and his awesome little Nike shoes. I had to. I mean, I've got so many Martys in the life preserve. You could argue, do I need another one? Yes, because yes. Right. The room I have in my game room, which has half of these displayed at one time, basically it's the Back to the Future ones. 50s Doc with helmets. This was one I used to do the little picture where I had 80s Marty talking to him, you know, and so tell me, future boy, who's President of the United States of America in 1985? Ronald Reagan. So I took them out the box for that. But yeah, so Doc with, you know, you're coming from a great distance. Can't remember the lines for that, shocking. But yeah, you know, my God, do you know what this means? It means this damn thing doesn't work. So yeah, I love that scene. I love that scene. Marty, 1955, where he's got the kids, where he wrecks his you know, truck, trolley, scooter, whatever it is, so he can use it as a skateboard and basically invents skateboarding before it was invented, in his hand, and he's dressed in you know, 50s clothes. And also it's really, really cool because I never really noticed it as a kid, but they've dressed him in such a manner that it's essentially, you know, it's 50 clothes, but it's very much the character of Marty. It's quite clever, you know, from the prop department. Obviously they intended to do that. I never really noticed that till I was an adult. But yeah, 1955 Marty. Then we're into the last stretch. Marty with glasses. Marty with his Walkman on and his mirror shades, and he hasn't got his life preserve on. He's just got his stonewashed jacket. Absolutely had to. Apologies for the glare. Doc 2015. Again, see, it's about getting the most iconic bit from the movies. I do want Back to the Future 3 Marty as a cowboy, like the kind of Roy Rogers arise cowboy. That was the most descriptive term ever, you know what I mean. But that one's getting up there. That one's getting up there, especially the one in like the dressed as Clint Eastwood sort of outfit. What was it? Pontoon? I can't remember. You know what I mean. So yeah, Doc 2015. Look at that. Look at that. There is a Funko DeLorean, but I don't like what they do with the vehicles. I saw the Michael Knight one the other day, with a car and then them sticking out the top. Don't like that, so won't be getting the Funko DeLorean. Now, the last two are the absolute classic, traditional main movie, first movie, best movie of all time. If you like anything over it, you're just wrong. These both came from cash generators, and they were a tenner, like no $9.99 or anything like that, no 99p and shit like that. Just original Marty. He's just his standard. He's rolled up his sleeves. He's in his stonewash, his shirt. There's no Walkman on this one. It is life preserve. The most iconic image. What most people think of when they think Marty McFly. That's one and that one. Who would sell these both to cash generators, knowing that you would get fuck all from them? At the same time, I don't know. Only I'm very, very glad they did. So this is my Funko collection. As I said at the start of the video, I'm not a die-hard Funko collector. I understand that some of the things I do in this collection will drive people nuts, such as missing two from Ghostbusters, not having Rocco, happy to buy a specific figure and not get any more from that line and stuff like that. Basically have a very random Funko collection, although I guess arguably that's what Funko intended with this, which is it's accessible to everyone. So anyway, as always, I'll clear this all up and put it back on shelves now. Totally worth it. As always, I'd love to know what you think, especially if you too collect Funkos and you have a kind of different way of how buying them or purchasing them, you know, in the sequence that you buy them in specific characters, such as I. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.